The surest way to be happy is to seek happiness for others, by Martin Luther King Jr.
Thank you.
Martin Luther King was an amazing person. Here are some interesting facts about Martin Luther King. At age 6, his father changed his name from Michael King Jr. to Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King skipped 2 grades, 9th and 11th, and entered Morehouse College at age 15.
Nonviolent civil rights work led to passing the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Dr. King was the youngest male to win a Nobel Peace Prize at age 35 in 1964. He donated all of the $54,123 from winning the Nobel Peace Prize to the civil rights movement.
His I Have a Dream speech delivered in 1963 in Washington, D.C. was ranked as the top speech of the 20th century. The I Have a Dream speech was largely improvised and was witnessed by 2,050,000 people.
Over 700 streets in the United States are named after Martin Luther King Jr. Besides Martin Luther King Jr., only George Washington and Christopher Columbus have national holidays named after them. The first Martin Luther King Jr. holiday was on January 20th, 1986.
Martin's big words. And one thing about Dr. King was that in addition to being very brave and very strong, Dr. King was very smart. And one of my favorite parts of this book talks about how he taught people to use words instead of fists to solve problems. And you know, I'm on the playground a lot, and I always appreciate when I see kids and hear kids using words instead of fists to solve problems. So this is a great example. When you hear that part in the book, I want you to think carefully about that and how we practice that every single day. So we're going to show this video called Martin's Big Words. Oh, and by the way, if any classes really like this book, I'm happy to lend it to you.
Martin's Big Words, The Life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Written by Doreen Rappaport. Illustrated by Brian Collier. Everywhere in Martin's hometown, he saw the sign, white only. His mother said these signs were in all southern cities and towns in the United States. Every time Martin read the words, he felt bad, until he remembered what his mother told him. You are as good as anyone. In church, Martin sang hymns. He read from the Bible. He listened to his father preach. These words made him feel good. When I grow up, I'm going to get big words too. Martin grew up. He became a minister like his father, and he used the big words he had heard as a child from his parents and from the Bible. Everyone can be great. He studied the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. He learned how the Indian nation won freedom without ever firing a gun. Martin said love when others said hate. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. He said together when others said separate. He said peace when others said war. Sooner or later, all the people of the world will have to discover a way to live together. In 1955, on a cold December day in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks was coming home from work. A white man told her to get up from her seat on the bus so he could sit. She said no and was arrested. Montgomery's black citizens learned of her arrest. It made them angry. They decided not to ride the buses until they could sit anywhere they wanted. For 381 days, they walked to work and school and church. They walked in rain and cold and in blistering heat. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them until the white city leaders had to agree they could sit anywhere they wanted. When history books are written, someone will say, there lived black people who had the courage to stand up for their rights. In the next 10 years, Black Americans all over the South protested for equal rights. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. White ministers told them to stop. Mayors and governors and police chiefs and judges ordered them to stop. But they kept on marching. Wait. For years I have heard the word wait. We have waited more than 340 years for our rights. They were jailed and beaten and murdered, but they kept on marching. Some Black Americans wanted to fight back with their fists. Martin convinced them not to by reminding them of the power of love. Love is the key to the problems of this world. Many white Southerners hated and feared Martin's words. A few threatened to kill his family. His house was bombed. His brother's house was bombed, but he refused to stop. Remember, if I am stopped, this movement will not be stopped because God is with this movement. The marches continued. More and more Americans listened to Martin's words. He shared his dreams and filled them with hope. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. After 10 years of protest, the lawmakers in Washington voted to end segregation. The white-only signs in the South came down. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. cared about all Americans. He cared about people all over the world, and people all over the world admired him. In 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He won it because he taught others to fight with words, not fists. Martin went wherever people needed help. In April 1968, he went to Memphis, Tennessee. He went to help garbage collectors who were on strike. He walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. On his second day there, he was shot. He died. His big words are alive for us today.
So we have been reading and writing and learning about how Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. used peace to create important change in our country, and we're just going to share from a few students what they wrote.
My name is Montan, and I'm going to be sharing what peace means to me. Peace means sharing kindness and fairness to people who are not kind and fair. Similar to what Dr. King said, love can outrun hate, but cannot outrun love.
Thank you, Montan.
Hi, my name is Christine, and I like to share what peace means to me. Peace is being kind to each other and helping people. Martin Luther King Jr. was peaceful when he led his protesters. He helped people with peace, not violence.
Like Martin Luther King Jr. said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
My name is Asante, and I want to share what peace means to me. Peace means love and no hate, no or harm. Peace is helping people. Like Dr. King said, the time is always right to do what is right. Dr. King had a dream and he succeeded. You can too. Martin Luther King Jr. was an important man that believed in fairness and equality. Dr. King said love when others said hate. Dr. King said together when others said separate. Dr. King said peace when others said war. We will all remember his speech where he says, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by their color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
All right, again I said, we will be sharing a poem called He Had a Dream.
These were the words of Martin Luther King. What was the dream? What was the dream? Tell us the dream of Martin Luther King. Dr. King wished, Dr. King prayed, that one day all people would live unafraid. Dr. King cared for blacks and for whites. He wanted all people to share equal rights. I have a dream. I have a dream. These were the words of Martin Luther King. Dr. King marched. Dr. King dream of a world full of justice for all kinds of folk. Dr. King cared for me and for you. By working together, his dream can come true. I have a dream. I have a dream. These were the words of Martin Luther King. What was his dream? What was his dream? Tell us the dream of Martin Luther King.
Without a roof, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here comes because I'm